Yes, Bhulakshmi, during our conversation, you had mentioned an interesting point that we put engagement on trainer's side only, and it is overrated. But as a learner, there is a lot to do, right? I mean, learner should be equally engaged, should be equally motivated to do the learning. Otherwise, if he's not ready to eat, how can we feed that learner, right? So I think that was a very
Absolutely.
interesting point. And can we dig a little deeper into that? That as a learner, especially in online learning, what should a learner do to make sure the learning is proper, and how should one adapt to this new online learning?
Mhm. So let me start with the same point. See, I think motivation of the learner and engagement of the learning from the trainer or designer are actually two sides of the same coin in
Mm-hmm.
my view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think uh, any one party should take complete responsibility for the learning to happen.
Yeah.
Often you see that somebody is given greater responsibility for the learning,
Okay.
and somebody, the trainer is typically said you have to be engaging the learner. It is true, but if a learner isn't motivated,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't find value in the particular program, course, um, study material, then no amount of engagement is really going to help. So I really think that it is a meeting on a common ground
Mm-hmm.
for really effective learning to happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I put motivation and engagement as two sides of the same coin. Having said that, I think assuming that a learner is motivated to take the program and he or she is enrolled into the program, I think um, the learners have to be clear about what they're looking forward from the program. What kind of engagement, um, what is it in it for them, what has drawn them to this course. And I think today many training programs that learners enroll into are
Mm-hmm.
typically programs where in some form there is potential for improving their job prospects.
Sure.
So they are adding a new skill, getting a new set of certifications. And I think COVID times has been especially known for this getting more and more certifications.
Yes.
So I think where there is clarity, you opt for the course, you complete it, and you do well overall.
Sure.
But you can't do a trial and error. You can't do a let me take this and then you get out of the course and you say the course wasn't good. Well, there are so many others who are completing the course as well.
Sure.
So that's really what I would say from a learner perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to that level of clarity of what do I want from the course is very important.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you said, right, I mean, motivation and engagement are two sides of the same coin. As a learner, I feel there are a couple of other things which are not taken into account. Okay. And especially in this work from home, online learning environment, that am I ready? I mean, am I comfortable? Is my environment right for the learning? And generally in college or in a corporate setting, we can make sure that the environment, the room, the classroom is suited
Yes.
for that. But now here I think
Yes.
we have to do it ourselves, right? The learner has to make sure that the space is distraction free, the time is distraction free, there is no one else
Mm.
who is
Mm-hmm.
expecting that time from you. There's a proper
Yes.
table setup, I mean basic setup, you can sit for long hours. And the technology as well, instead of doing it on mobile, actually you might need laptop or an iPad for that matter, with a stand, to make sure that you are comfortable for longer hours. And the internet should support you with that as well. And even
Yes.
simple thing as earphones, headphones should be ready for long hours
Mm-hmm.
concentrated learning.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the time part is even more critical. I think we talk about reduced learning time, reduced concentration spans, but learning cannot happen so fast, right? So we should be the learner should be managing that time, so literally putting a calendar Literally putting these many hours I need to put in learning, these many hours I might need in assignments or some self-learning revision, these many hours for some extra learning. So that much time, like we call time per week, probably that investment of time from the learner should be clearly defined by the learning design, but as well as the learner should make sure that the learner puts that in the calendar, understands that every day a little bit is required rather than doing it just over the weekend or just before the assignment or the assessment. So, and even the putting reminders. So these are very
Yes.
simple things, but what happens in
Yes.
probably a classroom setting with a trainer-led setting, the trainer does that job partly. Now the learner has to be self-motivated, self-reliant to make sure these,
Yes.
you can say, this time environment aspects are taken care.
Very well put, Harshad. I think it's extremely important, and I think you make a very good point also about distractions. I have seen often, when people are in webinars, they walk around with their phone.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I am wondering, how can you focus on, even if
Yeah.
it's a discussion, how can you focus if you're literally, on the move, attending to different other things? Yes, and I think in learning it's so much more important. Coming to certain other aspects with respect to communication and interaction, in this online learning mode, I think it's also very important for learners to be in touch with the trainers and the administrators of the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Because again, you could run into technical issues, and are you communicating in a timely manner with your administrators, or maybe an assignment hasn't reached you, and you have a timeline, a deadline, so are you communicating with your trainer? These are all very important. And then from the learning perspective itself, it's very important that you're very clear about what the trainer or the program is expecting from you as a learner. Not
Yeah.
only in terms of time dedication, but also in terms of how you're expected to participate
Sure.
in the entire learning program. So in this journey of learning, there are many things that will happen. There'll be information that you'll consume, there'll be assignments that you'll do, there'll be some kind of research maybe you need to do, solve certain things, so a lot of things. So having clarity on what you need to do really makes learning joyful. It doesn't sort of overwhelm you, or it doesn't sort of burden you.
Sure.
The other thing is asking good questions. I think a lot of learning happens when you ask good questions that explore and go deeper into the content. And I think that's why we say a training is as good as the participants, because they really trigger good conversations and interactions. So I think it's the responsibility of a learner to ask good questions, to inquire into the content more and well. In addition, I think a lot of peer learning happens. We all know the power of peer learning. And this is possible in an online mode as well. You can have peer interactions when there is a group conversation going on. You can have offline peer interactions as well. There are a lot of group chats happening. People keep doing boom and this and that, but you can have many more meaningful group chats. There are discussion forums that programs allow, where you can have a topic that you explore further along with your peers, or if you're doing assignments, different kinds of exercises. Would you like to collaborate? Would you call up somebody and find out, I'm doing this, how you're doing this, and I'd like to bounce this off you. And so I think a lot of responsibility lies with the learner as well, when they choose to make the learning meaningful for them. And communication and interaction are also very key, along with creating a very good environment for learning.
So I mean, I'm taking a bit of notes. So if I have to summarize, I think the purpose end objective in mind is first, then optimizing your environment as well as managing your time, and constant interaction with the trainer as well as others learners. I think if a learner can keep these 4 or 5 points in mind, I'm sure the motivation and engagement happens very naturally. Thanks, Bhulakshmi. Thanks for all these
Thank
points.
you, Harshad.